It's now time for Energy Insights, where you get an inside view and local perspectives of all the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley. This program is being brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association and can be heard every Saturday at 9 a.m. on local radio WMOA AM 1490 and ESPN radio WJAW FM 100.9 and AM 630. It's now time for the show. Here's Johnny Wharf, your local host.
Johnny Wharf on Energy Insights on a Saturday morning. This program brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association, an opportunity to talk to local business members and leaders about the efforts of the oil and gas industry here in our area. And we have an opportunity with Wally Kandel, who's been a guest on our show with Solvay, to maybe look at it globally instead of, how it impacts us locally, because then I know it all comes back around. But you have an opportunity with an international company that most, if none of us, don't have that. So maybe if we look at, we tend to look at even maybe Ohio and Pennsylvania and West Virginia, but if you keep stepping back, now we're looking at the United States, and then we're looking at the world. So what does that little speck look like from on the outside?
Yeah, well, first off, it's good to be here, Johnny, this morning, and thanks for inviting me to talk about this. But Solvay is kind of a unique company. There's a lot of companies that want to be global companies, but we truly are. We're operating in 58 countries around the world, and really have like balanced sales, like a third of our sales in the Americas, a third in Europe, and a third in Asia. The unique things that are happening is with the world's kind of changed a lot with respect to energy, and when you're looking at it from a global standpoint, it stands out that North America has this energy advantage over the rest of the world, and that's driving a lot of investment, which is increasing the economy here. But then when you look further into North America, the Mid-Ohio Valley really is the best place of all in North America. And companies are starting to see that more and more. There's a lot more inquiries and a lot of things looking at it. This is also driving. We had way more natural gas production than we were able to do, and now that's starting to go away. So you see a lot more activity in this area. But we truly are, from a global standpoint, a very attractive place for companies to look to invest.
A credit to you and a lot of local business people, from screaming the message from the rooftops and waving the flag and trying to get this area recognized as the single best place to do business as it pertains to the oil and gas industry. But can you look back just in the shorter term, whether it's from Solvay business standpoint or some of these other businesses maybe that you've heard about or you've heard talking about us, as to maybe how it's changed short term in terms of the visibility of who we are and if people are coming this way?
Well, as short as 10 years ago, the advantage that I just talked to you about didn't exist. So, there were most people that were looking for investments in high energy businesses look for the Gulf Coast. I mean, any investment in the last 75 years in North America, you would say, gosh, where do you go? You say, well, the Gulf Coast, and you've been right every time. So now it's really taking a big change in mindsets in the industry, and it's with good work from Shell Crescent USA and other groups about communicating that it is getting a lot more attention, and people are looking at it and going, hey, there is advantage here that maybe we hadn't thought about, and it makes sense. I mean, if you look back into history, why did Union Carbide, why did Shell, why did these BF Goodrich, why did they invest here? And it's a pretty consistent thing. There was, at the time of those investments, there was an energy advantage, and that's what exists today. And people, it becomes more and more important, when you're looking at where am I going to invest my, especially, some of these plants are, between, $3 and $8 billion. That's with a B. I mean, so it's a huge investment. So when you're looking at it and you're consuming a lot of energy to do this, you have to look at that and look at it closely, and people are doing that, and we're looking pretty good.
And lastly, and this would be, back in the day would be the $186,000 question. It might have a B on the end of it now, but and it's not. I'm not trying to, trick question or anything like that, but where is there anything out there that you can see in terms of whether it's your business that you can talk about or another business that is looking to invest in this area?
Well, I mean, I think you can look at if we look specifically at Solvay, you know, Solvay has two pretty good-sized plants here, one in Willow Island, West Virginia, and, you know, the plant I'm responsible for here in Marietta, and we continue to make major investments in those plants. I mean, each of the plants are doing multi-million-dollar investments right now, and part of that is driven by the energy cost. I think there's other facilities and other businesses that are either doing some of that or looking at it. And you know, from where it looks right now, the economy is looking pretty good, and there's a lot of conditions that are kind of doing that. On the bigger side, you know, is there somebody looking and going, hey, I'm going to invest here? I think there's a lot of activity and a lot of good things going on, but, you know, nothing that I can say that, you know, Company X is ready to build this whole thing right here, but, you know, I can assure you that there's some really good things going on.
The program's called Energy Insights. Nobody has better insight than Wally Kandel of Solvay. We appreciate your time. I look forward to speaking to you again in the future.
Yeah, my pleasure, and it's good to be here.
All right, Energy Insights brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association.
Thank you for listening to Energy Insights, brought to you by the Southeastern Ohio Oil and Gas Association. Tune in every Saturday at 9 a.m. on WMOA and ESPN Radio WJAW as Johnny Wolf brings you your local and inside perspectives of the oil and gas progress going on in the Mid-Ohio Valley.